full-size air conditioner, golf cart battery, microinverter, solar array. I just offset 100% of the power consumption of this unit with solar and battery power. Don't believe me? How about now? 7.4 amps of glorious solar power dumping straight into running my air conditioner. It's coming over here and connecting into this Hoymiles high-powered microinverter. But instead of directly hooking this inverter up to solar panels, I've got it hooked up to these bus bars that are feeding off of this battery. And then I've got an MPPT solar charge controller hooked up to the solar panels, dumping power into this battery. So with this setup, I've completely eliminated the power consumption of my full-size air conditioner. But basically what we're trying to do here is create the same or slightly less power from solar than the central air conditioning unit uses. And as a result, we end up with basically net zero power consumption used from this unit. How this works is I'm using the contactor in the air conditioner to vary when this microinverter that's out here sees the grid. So that way the microinverter is only producing power and sending it to the air conditioner when it's on and running and able to consume the power. But the best news about this setup is I've got a battery hooked up in between the solar and the microinverter. So even when the air conditioner is off and I'm not actively outputting power from the microinverter, I am still able to utilize the power that's landing on those solar panels. Before we get into this, I've got to issue a disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do not attempt what you're about to see yourself. I am not a professional. We're working with high voltage DC power as well as high voltage AC power. Serious bodily injury, property damage, or even death could occur if you attempt this. All right, before we hook this battery and solar up, let's just get a baseline on power consumption of this AC unit. We'll just come down here and clamp the incoming power. You can see there we're pulling 6.72 amps of electricity. So let's see what kind of difference we can make here. At the moment, I do not have any of the solar connected up, okay? Here's my charge controller. Here's the PV wires. Nothing is connected up to it yet, okay? But I've got this golf cart battery hooked up. If we look at its monitor, check it out. We're outputting 37 amps right now. So I'm feeding battery power into all 4 inputs of this inverter. Let's come over here and take an amp reading. 7.3 amps of AC power going in. That is fantastic. But this is an example of what you should not do, and that is backfeed power into the house, because look at that. I'm producing so much power right now, I'm feeding 2.83 amps back into the grid. Now, with that said, I'm okay to do that because if you look up here, I've got a giant solar array that is grid tie on my roof, okay? So I'm going to continue with this experiment showing you the maximum power you can get out of this. But if you see that you're backfeeding, that's a big no-no unless you're like me and have a grid tie solar agreement, okay? Now it would be very easy to fix this. All I need to do is shut this stuff down and simply disconnect one of these inputs. And then that will cut it down by a quarter output. I'll still get really good offset on my power bill, but I won't be backfeeding. So the charge controller is acting as the medium for the solar. The solar is running non-stop, okay? So I'm generating electricity right now and storing it in this battery, even with the air conditioner off. You can see that the Hoymiles microinverter is not seeing the grid, it's flashing red. So this is a great way to continue to make use of your solar panel and the power that it can generate, even when the air conditioning unit is off, because it's all going to get dumped into this battery and stored. And I'm happy to report that now they make a 40 amp version of this, which would be ideal for this situation. All right, let me fire up the air conditioning unit and we'll see how this solar interacts with all of this. Okay, the AC unit is up and running, and you can see Hoymiles microinverter is inverting, but check it out with solar. Now we're only discharging 18 amps instead of almost 40, right? We were in the high 30s before. You can see right here that we're outputting 20 amps from the solar charge controller. That's why I like this solar charge controller so much. it has a Bluetooth app. It makes it so easy to see what's going on with it. So just think, if you got the 40 amp version and got enough panels to max it out, you'd basically be able to 100% offset the power that the air conditioner is consuming when it's running. And then when it shuts off, you'd be dumping 40 amps of power into the battery and storing that up for nighttime. And if you need more capacity, you could easily just get one more of these batteries and set it here on the side. Piece of cake. Let's just go check the amps for fun. The amps should be exactly the same as before when it was just the battery. Yes, it is. And you can see we're still backfeeding 2-ish amps at the moment. Almost 3 back to the grid. A cloud goes over those solar panels or whatever, and you're still going to get full power out to the Hoymiles microinverter until, of course, the battery dies, and then the inverter will just shut down and wait until it's got voltage again. I think this is just so sweet. Let me break down quickly how this is set up. Now here I've got 4 370 watt bifacial solar panels, and they are sitting on these awesome stands. See those out in the front? And if we come back here in the back, you can see that they actually telescope, and they have an adjustment pivot point up here. So you're very easily able to raise their angle and adjust them and optimize them. The kit with these legs also comes with these big straps and earth screws so that you can stabilize your array and allow it to not blow away or anything. Super, super easy to set up a semi-permanent solar array like this. And then if you move or something, you can easily just pack it up and take the investment with you. So the solar panels are coming around here, and they're feeding into this MPPT solar charge controller. So this protects the battery from overcharging, and it sends its power into this battery right here. The awesome thing about this is, because it's meant to go in a golf cart, it's got a weather resistance rating, so it can be outside without any problems at all. This has over 5 kilowatt hours of battery storage. I've got a fuse coming off the battery right here, positive and negative, and you can see the negative feeds one bus bar there. You can see the positive comes over here and feeds this bus bar. And then I've got another main cable coming over to 2 more bus bars for this side. These bus bars distribute the DC power to the Hoymiles microinverter system. So I literally just fabricated my own MC4 cables, and you must make sure that you get the polarity correct. You must make sure that you put the positive ends for the positive and the negative ends to the negative. It's pretty easy, just like use a solar panel for reference and replicate those on your positive wires and your negative wires. On the positive bus bars, one thing I do not have that you should most certainly have is a fuse. Every one of these cables that feed into the Hoymiles microinverter. That way, if there's any kind of internal short in here, the fuse will pop and you won't have a fire on your hands. I don't have that right now, and I'm just testing this proof of concept at the moment. But I would recommend 20 amp fuses rated for above 60 volts. You only need to fuse the positive side. Next, we have the Hoymiles microinverter. This is a 2000 watt microinverter, and right now we are letting it rip as hard as it can go. And then it feeds AC electricity after it's converted it through that cable over towards my air conditioning unit. I have an inline 20 amp breaker in this box to protect the cabling from the air conditioner going out to the microinverter. And then as far as what's going on here in the air conditioner and its wiring, I'm actually going to cut to a previous clip from one of my older videos because I think I explain it really well there and show it well. All right, first and most important, safety first. So we're going to come here to this service disconnect, and we're going to pull that out, and then we're going to check with this voltmeter. We're just going to make sure that there is no power coming into this unit. So no voltage there. Check the top of the contactor as well, just for good measure. No voltage there. Then I'm going to ground one of my probes, and we'll test each leg to ground. Nothing, 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 nothing. So we're good to go there. Next, in this weatherproof box, I've got this 2-pole circuit breaker here that protects the wiring on this side. So what we're going to do is make sure that is off. There shouldn't be any power anyway because the inverter hasn't fired up yet, but Again, safety first here. The Hoymiles microinverter outputs 240 volt split phase power. So we've got 2 hots and a ground wire coming from that. In your air conditioner, you'll have this device right here that is called a contactor. It's basically a big relay that is the switch that turns your HVAC system off and on. In my case, the power comes in from the bottom and then it comes out the top here and goes to the various components in this outdoor unit. We're going to use this that's controlled by the thermostat to vary when that microinverter sees the grid. So we're only accepting solar power when this air conditioner is energized. That way we are self-consuming. So we don't want to run the risk of pushing any power back to the grid. So we need to be sure and connect the solar on the top side, in my case of the contactor. Check your flow of power. So we're going to take our ground wire here, connect it to the ground. This is a Wago connector. It's super deluxe. I'll leave a link for those down in the description below. They're so handy. And then I've just crimped some spade terminals here on the ends of the hot wires. And we're going to go ahead and connect them up here, but I need 2 hands. So hang on a second. Now I'm hooking this up very temporary in nature. Obviously, when you're hooking it up permanently, you need some seal tight and grommets and what have you to wire this properly. But you can see my 2 spade terminals connected to the top side of the contactor. Because this is 240 volt, it doesn't matter which side of the contactor those wires go to. All right, now with that wired, we can come over here and we can go ahead and energize the breaker here. And I'm going to show you, even with that breaker on, there's going to be no power here. Let's take this multimeter and check, and there's no power. That's because that microinverter will not produce any power until it sees grid power. It's equipped with rapid shutdown technology so that it shuts off and stays off while there's no grid power available. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to go ahead and put the service disconnect back in over here. And now you'll see, waiting to come into the contactor at the bottom, we've got 246 volts, but up at the top we have no voltage because the contactor is still switched off. We've got to go in and turn it on from the thermostat. There is about a 4-ish minute delay from when that turns on and this microinverter starts seeing grid power before it starts producing power. That's a safety feature. The other sweet thing is this is incredibly scalable. So maybe you have a hyper efficient, smallish AC unit like mine that doesn't use that much power. And this system is more than enough to do it. Maybe you have a giant 5-ton old energy hog unit and it consumes 4,000 watts of power when running. Well, you could easily add a second battery, a third battery, a fourth, however many you want, wire them up in parallel, add another charge controller or 2, add a few more solar panels, add an extra microinverter. It'll just literally plug into, you can hook up to 3 inverters in parallel with the trunk cable that Hoymiles supplies. You literally just plug the second one into the end of that cord and boof, you've got a larger system. You can pare it down too. This is producing more power than my unit can consume. So in my case, I'd actually want to pull one of the feeds out of one of these inputs on the Hoymiles microinverter to prevent that from happening. And that's the nice thing about this, is I can still use all 4 panels, or even more if I wanted to, but I can vary the amount of power that this produces just by how many lines I connect going to it from the battery. Isn't this the sweetest setup, you guys? I just love the feeling of generating my own power and insulating myself from this skyrocketing energy bills that we've got going on right now. There's nothing quite like going inside and cranking it down so you're nice and cool, knowing that there's no repercussions. You're not going to get this huge spiked energy bill. The brighter the sun, cooler you can have your house, which is actually perfect because usually when the sun is just beating down like it is today, that's when you need air conditioning most. So I'm going to have links to all the components down below. It's not been easy finding products that work so well with each other. This has been a process, and I'm going to continue to refine it. But I think we're going to have a hard time beating this current configuration. A common question and concern is if you are going to overload these wires, and more importantly the MC4 connectors, by hooking it up to a battery that can supply thousands of amps if there's a short circuit. But this is rated to produce 200 amps continuously of power, which would easily melt these cables and connectors and whatnot. No, you don't need to worry about overloading this. Why? This inverter is special. Every single input has its own MPPT controller assigned to it. So there's actually 4 MPPT controllers inside this inverter before the inverter portion. So as long as you do not exceed the voltage of those MPPTs, they will self-regulate how much current they pull. Voltage is pressure, amps is the flow or current, volume, however you want to describe that. If we do not overpressurize the system, those MPPT valves, so to speak, will only let the amount of current that they're designed to let through at any given time, and they will self-regulate that current. I hope that makes sense. But proper protections do need to be put into place. Every single one of these input wires on the positive side need to be fused. And then notice that the system as a whole is fused, and it's a little hard to see, but there's a fuse for my MPPT solar charge controller as well. The big question I got from my last video is about this Microinverter Easy Start. I've had mine for multiples of years now, and it continues to go strong and work extremely well. The question I always got was, is this necessary in order for this to work? Absolutely not. This is 100% optional. The only reason I have this is to help save wear and tear on my machine, but more importantly, for my backup generator. I was able to save thousands of dollars getting a smaller backup generator because of this unit right here on my AC unit. But as far as supplementing with solar power, you do not need this whatsoever. Now, another common question I got on my original video was, well, what about the indoor unit? You know, it consumes power. That is true. Now, I have a gas furnace here, and I've got a solution for that. If you want to offset the power that this is consuming as well, all you got to do is get yourself one of those power stations. This is an easy generator switch, and what this allows me to do is, you can see right here, it's got a little plug, and then there's just this switch. So right now we're in normal mode. I could hook up one of those solar power stations to this. It just uses 120 volt power. Flip it up here to the generator thing, throw a few extra solar panels outside that's plugged into that power station, and I would run the blower of this unit 100% off of solar as well. Some of you may just have an air handler with electric heat strips that has a big 240 volt breaker on it. That's for heat. The heat strips are only for heat. So it's just going to run the blower when it's in air conditioning mode. So it's not going to use that much power on the inside. Personally, I don't fuss over this just because the consumption is quite low. Now, another common question I got asked a lot in my video before. This is a straight air conditioning unit. It only does air conditioning. But if it were a heat pump, this would work exactly the same way. And you could offset your cooling and your heating bill with solar year round. The power consumption is exactly the same in terms of how the electricity flows and different things like that in heat pump mode or air conditioning mode. So yes, this setup would work with heat pump. Sound off in the comments on what you think. Leave your thoughts and questions. I love hearing from you. I try to read and respond to as many of you as I possibly can. Questions can lead to new content, so I love your participation in the comments section. I'm leaving links to all the other version videos of this setup so you can see the progression, see the different setups. I try really hard to bring you valuable stuff that's unique and can hopefully help you guys in a substantial way. And I do it on this platform, easy for you to watch for free. So please reciprocate a little bit, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Those things only take seconds of your time, but really helps me with the YouTube algorithm and helps me and allows me to continue to bring this kind of content to you free of charge. I got so many cool things in the pipeline. I can't wait to show you guys. So stay tuned for those, be subscribed, and we'll catch you all next time.